The fall of Kevin Spacey just hit a brand new low, and honestly, this one's wild. The Oscar-winning actor who once ruled Hollywood is now saying he's homeless. Yup, you heard that right, Kevin Spacey, the guy who played Frank Underwood and strutted across red carpets like royalty, just revealed he's living out of hotels and Airbnbs because he's flat out broke. In a new interview, Spacey literally said, "I have no home." And before you think that's some kind of metaphor, it's not. The man lost his multi-million-dollar Baltimore mansion, sold off everything, and is now traveling wherever the work is, just trying to stay afloat. And if you're wondering how a two-time Academy Award winner went from private jets and movie premieres to Airbnb life, well, it's a long scandal-filled story that starts way back in 2017, the year that basically ended Kevin Spacey's career overnight. Because before the court cases, before the interviews, before he was performing Frank Sinatra covers in Cyprus of all places, Kevin Spacey was one of Hollywood's most respected, powerful, and untouchable names. But 7 years later, he's been cleared in court and still can't get a single call back from Hollywood. So today, we're breaking it all down. How one of the biggest stars in the world lost everything, what he's doing now to survive, and why some insiders actually think a comeback might be closer than you'd expect. Grab your coffee because this one's messy. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's rewind to 2017, the year Kevin Spacey went from Hollywood royalty to public enemy #1 almost overnight. At this point, Spacey was untouchable. 2 Oscars under his belt, a career full of iconic roles, The Usual Suspects, American Beauty, and of course, House of Cards, where he basically was Netflix's golden child. Frank Underwood had become a pop culture icon, and Spacey was raking in millions. He had creative control, respect, power, and then it all came crashing down. That October, actor Anthony Rapp came forward in an interview with BuzzFeed, accusing Spacey of making a sexual advance toward him in 1986, when Rapp was just 14 years old. The story went nuclear. Within hours, Kevin Spacey was trending worldwide, and Netflix, the same company that had built its prestige around House of Cards, immediately cut ties. Production halted, contracts frozen, and Spacey was suddenly persona non grata in the industry. And let's be real, this was at the height of the #MeToo movement, when every major Hollywood name was being called out. The timing couldn't have been worse. The accusations multiplied, headlines exploded, and Spacey's entire legacy flipped overnight from acting genius to Hollywood pariah. In an attempt to respond, Spacey posted that now infamous tweet, the one where he simultaneously apologized to Rapp and came out as gay for the first time. And if you remember the internet back then, people were furious. It came off like he was trying to deflect the accusation with a coming out announcement, and that move basically made things 10 times worse. Within days, he was fired from House of Cards, erased from a nearly finished Ridley Scott film, All the Money in the World, literally replaced with Christopher Plummer in reshoots, and dropped by his agents. One of Hollywood's most bankable stars became radioactive in the blink of an eye. From there, it was lawsuit after lawsuit, allegation after allegation, and the costs started piling up fast. Between legal fees, settlements, and being cut off from work, Spacey's finances started bleeding out. Remember, he wasn't just an actor. He had a whole production setup, staff, management, lawyers, property upkeep. That kind of lifestyle doesn't survive when your income suddenly flatlines. He later admitted that these legal battles were astronomical, and that word pretty much sums up the scale of what he lost. But here's the thing, while the world was busy canceling Kevin Spacey, the courts were telling a very different story. Because when these cases actually went to trial, something unexpected happened. So, while most of Hollywood had already slammed the door on Kevin Spacey, the actual courts were still trying to figure out if the accusations against him would stick. First up, the big one, the civil lawsuit from Anthony Rapp. After years of waiting, in 2022, the case finally went to trial. Cameras were flashing, headlines were already painting him guilty, and Spacey walked into that courtroom with the weight of a destroyed career on his shoulders. But after just 1 hour of deliberation, the jury found him not liable. 1 hour. That's it. And to be clear, that doesn't happen often. Juries in high-profile cases usually take days. It was a huge moment for Spacey legally, but the crazy part? Nobody in Hollywood seemed to care. Because even though the jury cleared him, the damage had already been done. Netflix had already written him off, studios had already replaced him, and the court of public opinion had already decided he was guilty years earlier. Then came the London chapter. British prosecutors charged Spacey with multiple counts of sexual assault involving 4 men. It sounded like déjà vu, same headlines, same public outrage, same career-over narrative. But again, when the case went to trial in 2023, the verdict came back, not guilty on every single count. And you'd think that would be the moment his comeback began, right? Nope. Even with 2 legal wins under his belt, Spacey was still completely exiled from Hollywood. No studios wanted to touch him. No agents, no PR teams, no new projects. It was like he didn't exist. For years, Spacey stayed almost totally silent, except for those strange videos he'd drop every Christmas, in character as Frank Underwood, talking directly to the camera in that same eerie Southern accent. Remember those? They were unsettling, theatrical, and confusing. Was he trolling the public? Was it his way of fighting back? Nobody knew. But one thing was clear, Kevin Spacey wasn't ready to disappear quietly. Behind the scenes, though, his money was drying up fast. The lawsuits, the canceled contracts, the PR teams, the real estate, it all came crashing down. In 2024, he even went on Piers Morgan and censored, breaking down in tears as he revealed that his Baltimore mansion was being auctioned off to cover debts. The same home he'd lived in for 12 years gone. And now, fast forward to 2025, Kevin Spacey is openly saying he's homeless. No mansion. No steady income. Just a man living out of suitcases and storage boxes, moving from hotel to hotel, hoping the next gig pays enough to keep him going a little longer. But despite all of that, here's the twist. He says he's not bankrupt. Which, honestly, might be the most Kevin Spacey thing ever, to be on the edge of losing everything and still find a way to technically say he's fine. And maybe that's because he's already found a new stage, one most people didn't see coming. Because Kevin Spacey's comeback? It's not happening in Hollywood, it's happening in Cyprus. So picture this, it's 2025 and Kevin Spacey, once one of the most powerful actors in Hollywood, is standing under neon lights in a nightclub in Cyprus, singing Frank Sinatra. No movie set, no Netflix production, no Hollywood comeback. Just Spacey in a tuxedo and bow tie, crooning That's Life and Bridge over troubled water to a crowd of wealthy fans who paid up to 1,200 euros, that's around $1,300, just to see him perform. And honestly, you couldn't script a more ironic moment. Here's a man who's been cancelled, acquitted, erased, and yet somehow, he's back on stage doing the one thing no one expected, turning his downfall into a show. The performance was called Kevin Spacey, Songs and Stories. One night only. He sang, told stories from his life, even joked with the audience, the same audience that, by the way, seemed to have completely moved on from his scandals. Some didn't even know about them. One guest reportedly said, "He was acquitted, isn't that enough?" Cyprus isn't London or LA, and that's exactly why Spacey picked it. He's rebuilding his career far away from the Hollywood spotlight, performing where people still see him as an artist, not a headline. He said himself that this new chapter feels like starting over, going where the work is, just like when he was a young actor hustling for roles. And get this, he's not just performing. He's been making indie films again, too. Over the last 3 years, he's quietly shot 6 movies, including one he directed himself, an action thriller called Holigards. None of them are major studio projects, but for Spacey, it's proof that someone out there still wants to work with him. In interviews, he's compared his situation to the Hollywood blacklist of the 1950s, when writers and actors were banned for alleged communist ties. He says he's waiting for a Kirk Douglas moment, when someone powerful, like Scorsese or Tarantino, finally says, enough is enough, and gives him a chance to work again. Whether that'll ever happen is anyone's guess. But for now, Spacey says he's content living out of hotels and storage units, performing when he can, and hoping for a comeback that might never come. And honestly, the irony is painful. The man who once played the most powerful character on television is now literally living gig to gig, singing Who Can I Turn To? To an audience of real estate moguls and curious tourists. Still, there's one thing you can't deny, Kevin Spacey knows how to perform. Even after everything, the applause in Cyprus was real. There were standing ovations, selfies, fans crying. The fall from grace might have been epic, but the show? The show went on. Because that's Kevin Spacey in a nutshell, controversial, complicated, and somehow still chasing the spotlight. So, what do we even make of this story? Kevin Spacey, one of the greatest actors of his generation, now singing Sinatra in Cyprus, living out of hotels, and still waiting for that one phone call that could change everything. It's tragic, it's bizarre, and honestly, it's kind of classic Hollywood. The same industry that builds legends can just as quickly erase them. But here's the question I want you to think about. If Kevin Spacey has been cleared in court, should Hollywood still keep him canceled? Or is it time to separate the man from the allegations and give him another shot? Drop your thoughts below, because I know this one's going to divide opinions. Do you think Kevin Spacey deserves a comeback, or has that ship officially sailed? And hey, if you made it this far, you know this tea was piping hot. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next breakdown, because trust me, the internet drama never sleeps, and neither do we. Until next time, stay caffeinated, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.